So thanks for doing this interview. The show is called Business of Hype.
Okay.
So, oftentimes we talk about like how to inspire people to like follow their dreams. Mm-hmm. But this show that I'm doing is more specific. It's more about like business stuff.
Yeah.
Not just follow your dreams, but the reality of doing it. So in this talk, you can be much more kind of business minded.
Right.
All right. So do you have your phone on vibrate?
Yeah.
From HYPEBEAST Radio, I'm Jeff Staple, and this is The Business of Hype, a show about creative entrepreneurs, brand builders, hustlers, and the realities behind the dreams they've built. If you're a reader of HYPEBEAST, then this man really requires no introduction. Hiroshi Fujiwara and his company Fragment Design basically laid the foundation for street culture as we know it today. Back in 1998, I flew to Tokyo to meet and interview Hiroshi for The Fader magazine. I was an art director and a journalist for the magazine back then. At that time, it was the first piece of U.S. press ever written about him. And now today, I got him for what might be his first U.S. podcast interview. For all his contributions to the culture, you'll find Hiroshi's incredibly humble, incredibly funny, and succinct. I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get right into it. First thing, please introduce yourself, who you are, what you do.
Yeah, I'm Hiroshi Fujiwara, and I do the Fragment, I guess.
I guess.
That's all I can say, yeah.
All right, thanks for doing this interview. I think many people, especially on the HYPEBEAST community, can know what you do and know the works that you've put out.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about which sneaker and which collab you did. I want to break down the different operations that your company has done. Mm-hmm. And then you could kind of talk about each one. Right. So, because you've had your hand in many different things like magazine, retail, fashion, collaboration, and then also Fragment as a company first.
Yes.
So maybe let's start there. Fragment is a company.
Fragment is a company.
Describe this company.
Fragment is a company. I mean myself and Kojiro and Ku, like three of us, just the three of us. And our policy is we know making product in the Fragment. Mm-hmm. We just do help people, or we just go by myself to work with undercover or Louis Vuitton or those kind of things. Mm-hmm. So we don't manufacture. We don't have a area to do that kind of work.
But I feel like many people know you as a brand that they want to buy. Like we want to buy Fragment things.
Yeah.
But you say you don't make anything.
We don't really make it.
What do you mean by
Maybe
that?
sometimes like watchband or just a small pieces we make because no one else does it for us.
Yeah. So you make it yourself.
Yeah.
But you try to partner with someone who can make it. Right.
Not really partner. I just go there and they make it. I get little percentages.
And would you call it then like a consultancy?
I don't know. Is that
consulting agency kind of thing?
I don't know. No, maybe
not really, right?
No, maybe something else.
I think
maybe just a brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the big difference between a consultancy and Fragment, I think, is that consultancy would work with anybody. Anybody who called, they'll help them.
Yeah.
But you're like...
A Fragment is more design, kind of.
Yeah.
Not really consultant, I think.
And I think because it comes from you. If you don't really love the product or the brand, you won't really just work with it, right?
Right.
Okay. And I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear that Fragment is only...
Three.
Really founder, you, and two. Do you really purposely want to keep it that small?
Yes.
Why don't you want to have a big company? Most people want to have a big corporation.
No, that's killing my freedom, I think. And also, I don't want to take a risk with the hiring people and making company bigger and bigger every year. Yeah, I had a company. It's still there, but like head porter were good enough. When I did a head porter, like maybe maximum was like 25 employees. But still, it was really pressure for me. I have to keep thinking about their salaries, or I don't want to make a big company because of it's a risk. And
when you say you want to make it your size, you mean you kind of want to see your whole company?
My capacity.
Yeah.
I want to work in my capacity.
Yeah.
And my capacity is really small.
I see.
I found.
Well, everyone's capacity is actually really small because you're just one person.
Yeah.
And the way a corporation works is you add many people so that your capacity is bigger.
Right.
Than one man. But you want to just keep it your capacity.
Yeah. I'm a solo, I think. So.
I see. Okay.
Also, I don't want to lend money or borrow money or, I don't want to get somebody else's money at all. I just want to do it with my money. So I don't borrow any money at all. That's what our business does.
Hiroshi is sort of known as a tastemaker for the finer things in life. If you follow him on Instagram, you'll see him staying at the Aman Resort or eating at a 5-star restaurant that Michelin doesn't even know about or wearing some 6-figure Rolex that he just won at an auction. So I wanted to dive into how Fragment generates income and also how he feels about retail in this day and age. After all, even though he says Fragment doesn't quote-unquote make anything, it does fall under his jurisdiction how the public is able to obtain his creations. And Fragment as a design company, like you said, right? Do you typically, is it like normal design company, like you charge a fee, or is it always percentage based? Which one is it, or both?
Both.
Okay.
It depends on.
When did it start, Fragment?
I can't remember. 15 years ago, I think. 10 years, 15 years. Yeah.
And before that, it was GoodEnough headquarters.
GoodEnough. Yeah, headquarter, electric cottage. Yeah.
Electric Cottage was also kind of a big company?
Yeah, no big company. Small, yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the other businesses that you did in the past. So like you did retail stores, right? Because GoodEnough had a retail store.
No, I didn't. They didn't have any good store.
Headquarter has.
Headquarter and ready-made.
Ready-made, that's right.
Ready-made, yeah.
How do you feel about retail business?
It's difficult for me because I always change interior and everything. So it takes many times and takes money. So I think it's really hard business to do retail. For me, anyway.
Even, so for you always, even with not counting because of e-commerce or the future, like not counting that, it was still hard for you to
For me, yeah. I cannot think about, I can't make a strategy how to sell and that kind of thing so much. I need someone which means makes, company bigger.
So, but recently you've done some really successful retail. So you did Park in Ginza, Pool Aoyama.
Yeah.
So
that is I produced.
Yeah. Right. So it's like the Fragment model. You have a...
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. I don't have to do that kind of situations.
How do you go about picking the right people to help you with this?
It's basically friend basis. And if I know them, I know the president of Jun very well, so he asked me.
Jun is a company.
Jun is a company who did a pool or parking, and he asked me to do something, and then I was bringing some people who I really trust.
Yeah. Parking was also in partnership with Sony a bit, right? Sony had a hand in that, didn't it?
Parking, the property was Sony.
Okay.
Yeah.
But nothing else. They just gave you the property.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they kind of agree me to make a product, their own, T-shirts or that kind of things, which never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get Jun is a huge company in Japan, right?
Yeah.
How do you get a huge company in Japan like Jun and a huge company in the world like Sony and you, which is just one man and 2 employees, to work together to open this amazing space? How does that happen?
Well, that's again friend basis. I knew him very well when he was working as the fashion business when he was 20 years old or something. Jun, the president.
Okay, the president of Jun. Okay.
And Sony, I've been working for Sony, not really working, but knew them long time, making cell phones and things. I was helping to making it. So now he's a CEO of Sony. Sony has a big company, but Sony building in Ginza, there's one company, and he's a CEO of Sony building. But he used to be kind of my type people working together. So it's really all friends.
And when you have this idea, do you have to present them with the vision of parking?
Not at all. No, I just go and talk.
So it's just over dinners and stuff like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So it's very, very organic.
Yeah. I never make those kind of, what do you call?
Strategy plan.
Yeah.
You never made a PowerPoint?
No.
Do you know how to use PowerPoint?
Not really. What was the other one?
Keynote?
Keynote.
Yeah.
I can make it because I teach in college.
Okay.
So I make something a little bit.
If you want to work with most corporations, you have to put together some kind of a pitch. You have to take hours and hours of time and effort and put this pitch deck together, and that's just to start on the project, maybe. Hiroshi operates on a totally different scale. He just takes people out to dinner, and somehow it magically happens over these meals. And I don't know if that's because he's super charming or what, but he definitely doesn't operate under these same guidelines and rules. There's a book called The Secret, and if you say things and speak things into existence, they actually happen. And while I don't think Hiroshi has read the book, it's a powerful device, but I've seen him do this over and over and over again.
I think you told me once that the Sony Parking Ginza project, kind of started when you were like on a radio show saying something. Can you tell that story?
Mm-hmm. That is when I was doing pool Aoyama, and we are kind of deciding, let's finish a pool. And then I was talking on radio, I want to do the concept also called parking. There's one little Chinese restaurant in parking, Ginza parking. It's a basement, like B3.
Okay. So like a sub-level Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the parking, and there's a little red light in the parking lot, and it's a Chinese restaurant. I always liked the idea. It's like mysterious. You know? So I wanted to do the store in the parking.
But you had no idea which parking lot? You had no idea?
No idea.
Okay.
And then the Sony guys called me, and we have a perfect property for you. So
he was listening to the radio show.
He was listening to the radio show.
Right.
Yeah. And it was actually the Sony building was rebuilding. So he knew the plan. So I can only use like 2 years, which, they can kind of give me a good price.
Right.
The Parking Ginza was an amazing retail space. It covered 2 floors of a subterranean garage in the Sony headquarters building in Ginza, of course. One level was a remix of a Japanese classic kisaten, which is basically like a Japanese old school cafe, and it was called Cafe de Rope. He sourced the greatest toasts from all over the world. Yes, toast. He even got a high-end toaster oven company, Balmuda, to sponsor the entire cafe, which is genius. All the cups and saucers had little Fragment logos engraved into them, and I'm sure people were trying to steal them. I remember one time I was there having some toast with him, and he looked around and said, "I don't like the lighting here anymore." I went back a few days later on the same trip, and voila, all the lighting had magically changed. Next to the cafe was a Bonjour Records, which is one of the best music shops in Tokyo, curating select vinyl records. And downstairs was the main retail space, which featured the world's most coveted brands. This included a WTaps tent, a Vanquish denim store, a ski gondola housing Burton's latest drops, a Retaw fragrance section, which is a cosmetic brand that Hiroshi also owns, and of course, a full-on Nike shop. And the Nike shop was outfitted with Nike products that Hiroshi had designed. And finally, there was the Parking Ginza merch store, which was a place that you could let all your friends back home know that you had paid homage to the Mecca of retail.
You also did a lot in magazine. And magazine is like a very broad term, right? Because magazine, you started your career like in print magazine.
Yeah.
And then you did Honeycomb, which is one of the first digital blog magazines. And now you have Ring of Color, which is another sort of magazine, right? So tell us your experiences in working with magazines.
Working with magazine at the early 80s, that was not like now. The magazines are only media you can have. Like TV is kind of way too much. And magazine was like subculture symbol, isn't it? To have your own pages or something in magazines.
Right.
So that's what I did. I was kind of introducing what's happening in the overseas. Like I've been traveling London, New York. So not many people can see what's really happening in London, New York. And then I was kind of introducing, those new things.
Was it a job?
Yeah, I can say. A little money. I can make little money. But, yeah.
And like, was your travel paid for?
Not really. But they can cover maybe even 50-50.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you did it anyway, even though it wasn't a lot of money.
No.
Why did you do it anyway?
I like it. I like to see. I like to travel. I like to see many things. And I have a knowledge of those things. So I want to kind of, tell people what I'm doing, what is going on.
Right. And I guess the intangible effect that happened from that is by doing that a lot,
I think
you became like an expert.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't really do, if someone asked me to introduce, which I don't like, you know what I mean? like some shoe company comes, yeah, Hiroshi, please, can you show this on the page? And then I said, no, I don't like this, So I didn't do that kind of thing, even they paid.
Yeah.
So I think audience kind of trust me what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. So naturally you became like an editor.
Yeah.
Because someone would give you something, please write, you would say, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're editing out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Selecting. And then how about when print magazines started to decline in business and the rise of digital and blogs started to happen, you started Honeycomb.
Yeah.
Did you see that, like...
I couldn't really see the print magazines going down so much.
Then why did you want to start Honeycomb?
Well, Honeycomb is not the first one, Maybe,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it may be the first one for the blog.
Yeah.
But like HYPEBEAST and those kinds of already there.
Yeah.
And many digital media or digital thing was there.
Yeah. But I feel like the way Honeycomb did it, with like a panel of experts and a regular blog was really unique.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
But why did you even feel like you wanted to start a digital blog?
Me and Kiyonaga and Hiroki from Visvim.
Okay.
So three of us.
Kiyonaga owns Sof.
Sof, yeah. And Hiroki from Visvim.
Yeah.
And me. Like three of us was, sitting, having coffee, a cup of tea, and then talking, hey, shall we do the digital media or digital things? Because we never done. And we are kind of looking, we are following those things.
Yeah.
Now maybe it's time to do it. Is it, too late or too early, that kind of conversation, and we start. And I was an editor, or I am an editor, kind of, and I can write. So I said the blog was kind of popular, getting popular, but there's no picture on the blog. Used to be blog is just writing.
Writing, yeah.
So I travel and we have all digital cameras. So why don't we put up nice pictures with a, talking blog? So that's what's happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what did Kiyonaga and Hiroki do?
They did a blog also.
Oh, they wrote too? Okay. So you were all editors, basically. Yeah. And you all just threw in money and did it? So self-finance in the beginning? Okay.
3 or 4, 5.
Yeah. What do you think? Can you talk a little bit more about self-financing and the risk behind that?
I don't think there's many risks. You're just losing a little bit money, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked to other people about this interview who like just started a magazine or started a, mixtape or something like that. And I think a lot of young people might be, they want to do it, but they're scared to lose the money. What do you say to those people?
It's much better than you using somebody else's money and lose it.
Really?
That's what I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Even the bank. I mean, I'm kind of scared. Maybe I'm old school. If you borrow money from bank and you fail, maybe you lose more things.
Yeah.
I think.
Right. So you'd rather just spend your own money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or kind of good friend or good people who can trust.
Loan you money. Okay.
Maybe it's better than, I think, get money from the
bank or
the investors.
Yeah, because if you lose that, you're in legal trouble. Right.
I talked to many people about finding the finances to fund their dream. And there's two varying camps here. One is quite popular in America and the Western world, and it's known as OPM. And it stands for other people's money. They say always use other people's money when you can. Why risk your own, right? Well, Hiroshi definitely sits on the other side of this fence. It might be something intrinsically Japanese, I'm not sure, but his thing is, why risk your credit and your reputation, and more importantly, your freedom? It's a question that every entrepreneur must answer at some point.
Okay, let's move to fashion.
Yeah.
What were the fashion brands that you did yourself?
GoodEnough? Just myself, I don't know. What was it? I think so, the electric cottage.
Yeah.
Maybe. And I think that's all, no? Head porter.
What do you think about going into the fashion business? If someone asks you should I start a fashion brand? What do you think?
Of the young kids, kind of. I think it's a difficult time to do a fashion brand because everyone's doing it. Yeah.
What do you think it is? Why fashion is like something that people can't stop doing, even though it's such a tough business? Even though we have H&M and Zara and Forever 21, but for some reason people still feel like I want to make my own fashion. Why?
I think people want to wear what he wants to, and if there's the fashion brand you can trust, you can wear it. Or it's inspired to make you something. I think it's happened to us too. For me and skate, I start GoodEnough with me and the skate things.
Skate thing from Bathing Ape was part of GoodEnough?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he came to me, hey Hiroshi, let's make a t-shirts, because like Stussy or like punks movement, they all have a printing t-shirts. So, he asked me to come, let's make a t-shirt, and yeah, let's do it. And it's the GoodEnough starting.
Okay.
So now maybe the kids think same things like, hey, Staple makes, printing t-shirts. The t-shirts, maybe we can do it. I don't think we can make a sneakers, we can make a, trousers, but maybe t-shirts, we can do it.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
Right.
That kind of little organic way which you can start.
Yeah, and it's kind of low entry to start a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I like how recently you did it, like you made t-shirts with Sacai, which is, but it was like a bootleg t-shirt.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you were getting back to like the skate roots, right?
Kind of. I think there's a space, the room for the Sacai, which she doesn't do. She never do like printing t-shirts with Sacai on print. So I asked her, I want to make a t-shirts with a Sacai on it. And then, yeah, you can make it. And I did make like 20 t-shirts with an American apparel brand, like just printing, bootleg, really real bootleg. And I gave few for her, and she said, "Oh, Hiroshi, can you make this for the actual Sacai?" Yeah.
So it started as 20.
Yeah, started like 10 or 20. Yeah.
Okay.
It was really bootleg.
Right. But now it's like
now it's like official bootleg.
Oh, that's awesome.
This story of how Hiroshi started to collaborate with Chitose Abe-san and her brand Sacai is indicative of how he likes to work. He's direct, honest, and intimate. He's a master at deciding who is the right partner, when is the right time, and how to execute it. But at the same time, he doesn't let his ego get in the way. By definition, the word collaboration involves two or more parties, and Hiroshi seems to intuitively know when it is his turn and when it is their turn.
All right, I want to move into collaboration, which you've done a lot of collaborations with really big companies. Like you mentioned Sony, and there's Starbucks and Burton and Levi's and Nike, obviously. When you walk into a meeting with these executive, really corporate people, right? And you mentioned that it starts off usually over a cup of tea and you have a conversation. But eventually you have to go to the headquarters and have the like boardroom kind of meeting, right? Don't you?
No, really, no.
You never do?
No. With a big, minivan.
Yeah.
No.
You always want to keep it small? Okay. But how do you get your vision done if you don't involve everybody?
You need the making product is small team.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe you have to have agreement with those kind of executive, maybe. But I never really did it.
Really? Do you ever feel like you have to defend yourself and your ideas to these corporations?
No.
No,
I don't. I'm really easy, and then if I make one thing to the big companies, it's theirs. I don't own any copyright or anything, so they can do whatever they want. Some designers kind of upset if they did one, if they did make one style, and then company kind of rip off their style and keep doing it.
Yeah.
Someone kind of, I understand designers upset, but I don't care. I think that is my thing. I'm bringing in first time, the beginning.
Yeah.
And then they can sell more and more.
Right. That's the benefit for the company.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't care if they keep doing it.
No.
Okay. But do you ever have like corporations have a reputation for kind of taking advantage of individual designers and creatives, right? So do you ever run into a situation where you feel like maybe you're being taken advantage of? And if you do, what do you do about that?
Well, I don't really feel it already.
No.
So I think that is a job I do, like Nike, and pick up some shoes, pick up some sneakers, like which no one really touched it, like Court Force or maybe Sock Dart. And then I kind of made it. And then after that, anyone can do it. Any company can do it.
Yeah.
Like Nike can do their own thing. I don't even know which color they're doing.
I see.
Only first model I did. And then the other ones, I don't.
So you're almost like a prototype designer.
I think so.
I see. Okay. So when you work with a big company, right? How about do you do the negotiation yourself, or somebody else in your company does it?
Somebody else, but we don't really have so much negotiation. Maybe it's a big company have like legal issues like copyright or like, the trademark things. But yeah, I don't do it. I have a lawyer kind of to do it.
But no negotiation, meaning you say what you want and then that's it? And
Basically.
they never say like, so let's say you say, oh, I want to do this for, I'd like to get paid $100. They never come back and say like, oh, can we do it for $70?
Yeah, that is my lawyer does, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. And then
I don't negotiate about money. So.
I see. Why did you want to separate your negotiation to somebody else?
Because I don't even know how much I have, to be honest. I don't have a bank check things. My, the other guy keeps it. So I haven't seen the account or how much I have 20 or 30 years.
In 20 or 30 years, you haven't seen how much money you have.
I don't even know what property I have.
You don't even know what properties you have, but you know you have property.
I have a property, maybe my house and the kind of things, but I don't know how much. Well, I don't really know, nothing.
Is a part of you scared to see how much you have?
What I mean? No.
Are you scared to see it?
No, I just don't have to. Maybe I'm scared to see, but I don't need to, I guess.
Yeah, scared in a way like maybe if you saw it all, you'd be like, holy shit, this is a lot.
One time, I accidentally saw the tax paper I have to pay.
Yeah.
That was scared.
Right. You're like, holy, how can I keep paying this tax?
Yeah. So since then, I never opened the envelope.
You don't want to accidentally see it ever again. Wow. So okay, let's talk about the person or people that you trust to do this. Because obviously there's a relationship there where you fully trust them. And in America, you always hear these stories of like celebrities who trusted their accountant too much and then they go to jail because they didn't pay the tax. Like there's all these stories like Martha Stewart, TLC, So you obviously have a really trusting relationship with this person or people. How did you meet these people? How did you trust them?
That was when I started GoodEnough.
Oh, so it's like over 20 years now.
20 or I started GoodEnough like 1988. So it's almost like 30 years.
Yeah. Right? Same team, same people.
Yeah.
Is it a team or a person? Just one person?
I think.
Okay, just one person. Okay.
So, and he was already knows of the business. So he helps to do a GoodEnough. Okay. And then, GoodEnough has really nothing, just one T-shirt, starting with one or two T-shirts. Yeah. And then kind of grow, and not only GoodEnough and the headboard of everything. That was, behind he's always behind. The business going.
You're a creative, obviously. Do you think it's better that creatives don't touch the money?
It really depends. Some people love making money as a creation too. Yeah. Like in the 90s, I think making money is actually trend.
Like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, maybe more like our age, maybe you wanted to make a t-shirt. You wanted to do a creative work. So money is kind of second things. But in the 90s, people want to make money. I want to make money. I want to be rich. What can I do? Maybe be a DJ. Maybe making a t-shirt. Maybe making a brand to make money.
Right. First was how do I make money?
Yeah. That was in the 90s, I think.
Yeah. So your whole thing first was I just want to make stuff.
Yeah.
So you always had somebody else thinking about the money. Right. So do you even know, like you obviously don't know, you said you don't know how much money you have, but do you even know how much you have to spend?
To what?
Like, do you have a payroll? Are you like paid? Do you get a paycheck?
No, really.
No. So does anyone ever call you and like your accounting guy? He's like, hey, Hiroshi, you kind of spent too much money this month.
No one asks me.
No one ever says that to you.
No.
You should try for that. You should try to spend so much that someone yells at you.
I always ask.
Oh, you ask somebody first.
If I want to buy a big thing, maybe buy a car. I always ask, is enough money you have for this car and the kind of things? And then they always say, go ahead.
Okay. I want to know what you asked for, and they said, maybe not good.
I don't say that.
No,
I guess I know my capacity.
I see. You've never asked for something and they were like,
No.
you're crazy.
I think that's when I was young too. I never ever thought I want to drive a Mercedes because I was enjoying doing myself. So maybe a friend of mine was making money and then, buying big cars or that kind of things. But I never envied it. I never thought,
Yeah.
I'm always enjoying in my capacity.
When you came from a small town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you come from like money or you came from middle class or what was it like growing up for you?
Just a regular family.
Yeah. Not super rich.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Do you think growing up, some people talk about when you grow up in a rich family, there's pros and cons, right?
Right, yeah.
Pro is obviously you have money that you could play with. Con is, do you value money?
Right.
Do you think you have a value for money? Like you appreciate how hard it is to get it?
No.
You don't?
No.
Why not?
Because I had enough money for my capacity.
Yeah. Simple life. Simple life.
Yeah. So if you give me, $100 for a week, I can live.
Even today?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That kind of things.
I think so too, yeah. I remember like there's a good story where, Elon Musk, the Tesla guy, he said, I calculated once that if I just got $80, I can live off ramen and sleeping bag. So as long as I make anything over $80, it's like a bonus. And that's how he still lives his life today, he said.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not that,
You're not that.
I enjoying $1,000 too.
Okay, not 80.
I enjoying $100 also.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then last bit, like if there's a young person and a lot of people look up to you, right? What are some bits of advice that you give to young people that want to be the next Hiroshi Fujiwara?
It's nothing next to me because of the time is different, the starting time. I think I was lucky starting in the 80s because the fashion is growing and the street fashion was just beginning. So I feel really lucky to be in the scene. So now maybe some technology or whatever, it must be something which I don't know, which you don't know. Something for which only young kids can know.
Yeah.
Yeah. They should find the area.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like an opportunity, right? Like when you were young, you saw opportunity in fashion and media. There's a new opportunity now.
I think so.
Right.
Maybe even in the fashion, maybe there's some new opportunity.
Right. When is the last thing that you saw that was new and you were like, wow, this is like a new wave?
It's not really new, but like I like a Cold War. Because that's not which I want to wear. But I think that's different.
You sense some newness about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like how he incorporates architecture and structure.
Yeah.
Into
something
his stuff.
interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's good that people are still doing new things in fashion.
I like to know what's going on, even I don't wear it.
Right.
If you're into shoes in really any capacity, you probably understand the concept of reselling. Highly coveted shoes are gobbled up, resellers mark them up based on market demand, and the end user pays the price. While these resellers used to be sneaker fans like you and I, this little cottage industry has now ballooned into a multi-billion-dollar behemoth. It even has its own stock market now. Just check out StockX.com. And as a creator of these items, I wanted to get Hiroshi's take on it.
You're really interested in reselling.
Yeah. People who be a billionaire
from reselling
things,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's basically you cannot really stop right now. So
no. And I remember the days when like Nike and stuff like really hated resellers, right? But now you can't beat them. You have to join them. It is crazy because these people make so much money, but they don't make anything. Yeah,
like us, when I start, like GoodEnough and things, those t-shirts became really expensive, like 10 times expensive. I make like $30 and deciding is $300.
Yeah.
Right? And then...
So you make 30, but the other kid makes 300.
Other kid make like 10 times more money, right? And then, but in fact, people think I'm making the money. They don't really know what's the situation, what's
Yeah.
going on. So people obviously say, Hiroshi is making t-shirts at $300.
Yeah.
That's what people think.
Yeah.
So it's not really true.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So
In fact, did it make you mad? A little bit. It must have a little bit mad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we have a good talk next one or something.
Yeah, next one, yeah. But I think it's interesting now that it's kind of become a thing where you just have to accept it, reselling. It almost tells you, or Nike, or me, that you're doing such a good job at your job that there is a resale value. So on the one hand, you get mad that like, oh, this kid does nothing. He literally just bought it and is reselling and is making hundreds more than me.
Yeah.
But he's also saying to you, you're so good at what you do. Right?
Is that really true? That is maybe better than the people who doesn't care about the fashion and buying things for making money.
Yeah,
I saw that's happening too.
for sure.
Yeah.
A lot.
So I don't like it that way.
Yeah.
If like people like us, we really like Nike shoes, so I want to buy one for me, but why don't I buy 10
Yeah.
and selling it
Right.
and making money?
It's a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's definitely better than nobody wants to buy your stuff because there's no resale value. That sucks. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's weird. I used to hate it too, and I had the same problem where people think like my pigeon dunk is worth $8,000. So Jeff, you must be super rich because you made this shoe.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I only have one pair and I only made, $100 on it. So it's like everyone else is making the money, not me.
Right.
But it's like this perception that because you made this, you must have a lot of money from it,
Yeah.
It's funny. Any other advice?
No, but this show is really interesting, so you should keep doing it. Maybe we can talk about more like business.
Great.
Thanks for listening to our first episode. You can find out more about the show or listen to future episodes at hypebeast.com/radio. You can subscribe to us wherever you listen. I personally use Overcast. And you can reach out to me on Twitter at Jeff Staple. Check us out on the web at businessofhype.com. And you can email any questions you might have to questions@businessofhype.com. The Business of Hype is directed by Daniel Navetta. It's edited and produced by Bright Young Things. You can check them out at byt.nyc. Engineered by Andre Zakow and Vincent Staropoli. This was recorded at Sibling Rivalry Studio and on location in Dubai at Seoul DXB. I'm Jeff Staple, and you've been listening to The Business of Hype on HYPEBEAST Radio.